Hello everyone. As a part of your big write this week, you're looking at paper 2, question 5, writing to argue and explain, and the topic of truth and lies. And so I thought I'd talk to you in this little tutorial about truth and lies in the media. First of all, what is the media? Let's just make sure you understand what that term means. So it's mass communication, any form of electronic and print communication to a large number of people. That includes things from communicating the news or communicating entertainment, and that would be television, film, newspapers, streaming services, and the internet, amongst many, many other things. And of course, in 2020, it also includes social media, from YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, absolutely everything. All those things are all a part of social media, and all of them have an influence on our lives. Now, in the work you've been set, there is a link to a video by BBC Bitesize about fake news, and that's worth looking at and get a bit more of an understanding there, and how sometimes the media can present a particular point of view. I won't talk too much more about fake news because of that video, but I will talk about media bias. So that's something that we have to take into consideration when we are receiving information, when we're getting our news or trying to find out the truth about something through the media. There is always an element of media bias, which can sway one way or the other. This has an impact on how fact and opinion are presented to an audience. Quite often, opinion is presented as fact, and facts themselves can obviously be manipulated to present a particular outcome of a particular media group. Then there's the echo chamber. What's that? Well, this is where our social media feeds and our interests are picked up online through algorithms, and the same sort of opinions and the same sort of ideas are fed back to us, reinforcing what we think, but actually not giving us a kind of a wider scope of understanding, and also quite often misrepresenting the truth or the whole truth. In his farewell address, Barack Obama identified a similar concept as a threat to American democracy. He said, "The retreat into our own bubbles, especially our social media feeds, surrounded by people who look like us and share the same political outlook and never challenge our assumptions, and increasingly we become so secure in our bubbles that we start accepting only information, whether it's true or not, that fits our opinions, instead of basing our opinions on the evidence that is out there." So this brings us to a topic like reality TV, which is quite an ironic name for a format which generally requires people to be picked, selected, put into a sort of an unrealistic situation, let's say a holiday resort on a fabulous tropical island, and then tasks or other elements are introduced to see whether there can be some conflict created amongst those peoples. Just think of Love Island. If you didn't have the conflict, which could then be edited down into a reasonable television format, you wouldn't have a show at all. So can we trust the media to tell the truth, or is it always lying to us? Well, part of the problem comes from the fact that the media mediates between events that actually happen and producing a show for its target audience. This means that the media is a kind of middleman, a kind of filter, if you like. And so when a real event happens, let's say a news event, that's the actual truth, the event that happens, and then the news channel will report on it. But by reporting on it, they are already taking film of certain shots, they're editing that down, they're sort of beginning to present a sort of an opinion, and so that makes it quite difficult. quite difficult for the media to be completely unbiased. So the question is, can the media ever tell the truth? Or is it always acting as a filter between true events and us, the audience? I'll leave you to think about that.